So in, I believe, 1996, there was a mass shooting at Port Arthur and a lot of people were unfortunately killed. And that is when the Australian government decided to bring in some gun laws, some tight gun laws to try and restrict who had access to firearms and try to understand, just try to keep tabs on all the firearms in the country. You apply. I've just been through this process myself, not a couple of years ago now. The police go through your records and they decide whether you're a fit and proper person. And then they send you an approval letter. And then you have to do some training, depending on what firearms you want. The basic training that everyone's got to do is a day course at a gun range with qualified trainers, depending on what classes of guns you want to own. So just for shotguns and normal bolt action centerfire rifles, you need just that 1 day training course. So you do that training, you spend a day at TAFE, you go through, they're really good, they go through everything, they teach you everything you need to know, things like firearm safety. So that's treat every firearm as loaded, telling you how to identify a loaded, non-loaded firearm, talking about the different parts of the gun. They talk about firearms and the law, they talk about like what your storage requirements. They talk about how you apply to get a firearm. So you have to do a form that's called a permit to acquire, which means that you send that to the cops and they do a bit of a process and they make sure they're happy for you to have that gun, which is generally no problems. They send you back and say, yep, all good. And you go to the gun store and you can pick up your firearm. Oh, the other part of the training course is a practical. So you've got to use a shotgun and you've got to hit a steel target. I think it's 25 meters away. You've got to hit it 3 out of 5 times and then use a 22 and you've got to get a certain number of shots inside a 100 mil circle. They're pretty easy. It's just to demonstrate that you know how to use a firearm safely. So they give you the firearm and they say, right, how do you make sure it's safe? So you put your safety on, you open the gun, you put your shell in, they only give you one, and then you line it up, put the safety off, line it up, bang, and then you open it up again, put your safety on and do all those things. And with the rifle, they give you 10 shots. And you've got to go through, you've got to load the magazine. So make sure you can use the gun properly, and they're supervising you the whole time. That's pretty good. Then they send that off to the police, then the police send you back a piece of paper that says, right, go and get your photo taken. So you go down to Service SA and you get your photo taken, and then they'll send you a little card in the mail. And that's pretty much the process of owning a firearm. And it's really to make sure that you know how to use a firearm safely, that it's also to make sure that you are somebody who the police think should be able to own a firearm. And so that means if you have a violent criminal history, you're not going to get a firearm. Obviously, most people don't have a problem with that, but that's what it's there for. And then the courses really teach you how to use it safely, how to store it safely. So do you know your safe requirements? How many guns are you allowed to have? Things like that. The point of this whole process is to make sure, A, that you really want a firearm, to make sure that you know how to use a firearm, and to make sure that you're not waking up in the morning and going, oh, I just want to shoot, so I'm just going to go and buy a firearm. It took me, I lodged my application on the 24th of December, a couple of years ago, and I got my little card in the mail on November the 20-something, 24th or something. Right, so it was almost a year after.